my Panda Z Flip 5. If you're new to flipology, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. If you're an experienced flipologist like myself, then may your fortunes grow evermore. After having bought the Z Flip, the Z Flip 3, the Z Flip 4, I am in love with this phone. But before you even get started, there's 5 things that we're gonna go over in this video that you have to enable. You have to go into settings, you gotta, tinker around a little bit. If you do these, you're gonna get the most out of your buck, and obviously that's what you wanna do. Guys, do you see the cover screen? Isn't that kind of cool? Now, unfortunately, there's no way to put a GIF up there like there was in the past, but yeah, this is still pretty cool. Come on now. Now, before we get into the 5 most important hacks, you want to make sure to smash that subscribe button, because on this channel, I'm going to give you continuous monthly updates on how the Z Flip 5 has been over a bunch of different kinds of situations. Now, this video, those are coming up, but for today, we're gonna focus on the biggest hacks that you need to enable right away as soon as you get your device. And let's get started with hack number 1. First of all, you got a cover screen like this. The Razer does this. The Xiaomi does this. You need to be able to use every single app on the cover screen. Let me show you how. Oh, and by the way, before we get started, guys, do you see my case? This isn't a sponsorship or anything like that, but it's not even a tip. But guys, get yourself a case for your Flip. Okay, get yourself one. This is a super cheap $9 case from Amazon. I've got a link down below in case you're interested. I wanted to be transparent so I could actually see my Panda, because I love this kind of grayed down white. It's beautiful. I love these black bezels as well. Everything about the phone is just okay. So get yourself a case, and if you like this one, I've got a link down below. Let's keep it moving. Okay, so you want to be able to use every single app on the cover screen. Good for you, because you can actually do that, and it's very easy. First of all, download Good Lock. Now, one thing I get asked a lot, guys, Good Lock is an app that's not on the Play Store. You go to the Galaxy Store, the Samsung Galaxy Store, to download Good Lock. You won't find it on the Google Play Store. More to come on that later, but for now, head over to the Samsung Galaxy Store and download Good Lock. And when you do, you get these 2 little options here. It says Makeup and Life Up, right down here. Go ahead and click Life Up. And if it's your first time doing this, you might have to scroll around a little bit, but go ahead and find Multi-Star, click on that and download it. And once you download it, you'll find it back in your Good Lock app. Click on it and you'll find a bunch of different options. Now, there's multi-focus, multi-window screen zoom, quick launch of the multi-window. Forget all about that for now. You can, play around later, but for now, click I love Galaxy Foldable, the first option. And here you're gonna click on Launcher Widget. And this is where you're going to enable Launcher Widget and see all the apps that are on your phone. And you can actually now go through all of these apps and enable the ones that you want to be able to use on your cover screen. And literally, you can choose whichever one you want. And that's why if I wanted to, I can play Crossy Road on my phone screen. How cool is that? It's a little game. It's a little game cube like that. How cool is that though? Most of these apps aren't going to be 100% optimized for the cover screen, and it says that, but for my workflow and for what I want to get done, they're perfectly fine. Airbnb, Gmail, Google Docs, Sheets, all of those work perfectly fine on the cover screen and are good enough for my workflow. And just being able to use all of those apps on my cover screen, it makes this one of the best phones. I'm coming from the S23 Ultra, okay? So I've got this bad boy. This is a really powerful phone. I've also got the iPhone 14 Pro Max. That's in the back. Powerful phone. I prefer this over all of them. The fact that I can get work done on the cover screen is actually saving me time, because I'm not spending time doing all that other stuff. I don't have TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or Instagram enabled on the cover screen, so I'm never gonna get caught in that scrolling sort of hypnosis. Pretty smart. Come on now. All right, let's get on with hack number 2, and you're gonna wanna go into settings. When you're in settings, you're gonna wanna go to advanced features where it says labs, and you're gonna wanna click on that, click on labs, and here you wanna enable everything. Okay, just check all of these. Multi-window for all apps, flex mode panel, use screen navigation on Coverscreen, and apps allowed on Coverscreen. Now, by the way, my display might look a little bit different than yours, but that's also because I have gestures enabled. So I'm not using that bottom navigation screen. I'm actually just using gestures, and that gives me more of my screen to use as real estate rather than have a whole bar here that is just forward, backward, home button. Not a tip, but just, you know, something I recommend. But once you have all of these enabled, now there's a bunch of different things you can do. So hint number 2, you can essentially open any app in pop-up, and it's simple. Go to the side, drag down, boom. Boom. Okay, now I know this one doesn't really matter all that much because, hey, it's just a bunch of options. Oh, you want to do it with Chrome. Okay. Boom. Okay, Chrome is open. Oh, but wait, I'm also on Airbnb. I need to message a guest. I had to do some, you know, local search up of some local regulations in Mississauga, but I have to message my guest who's staying at my Airbnb. So, boom. I've got labs or settings open on the top, Chrome open on the middle, and Airbnb open at the bottom. This is 3 apps running at once. Do you people understand what's happening right now? This is a toxic level of productivity that is happening on this display. It's cool nonetheless, but there is a point where I've had the S23 Ultra, and I can do all of that on this, but what makes it so much nicer on this display is because it's narrow and long. And so on a longer and narrower display, having 3 windows like this is actually quite a nice experience because it kinda fits. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it can kind of work out, and that's pretty cool. Also, another one of the features, I'm gonna go ahead and remove all of these now, but one of the features that you guys just enabled in the Labs menu is Flex Mode Panel. Let me show you what that does. I'm actually gonna open up the camera app to show you. So here's the camera app. I'm actually gonna show this one to you guys this way. So you see the camera app, so you see me through the camera app. On the bottom, you're gonna see this little icon, this little phone that's just flipping open and closed right down there or here. I'm gonna go ahead and click that, and boom, we have basically a whole touchpad on the bottom. What that means or looks like, yes, that's a mouse that's moving up or around on the viewfinder. There's so many implications here. If I'm taking a picture and I have this touchpad here, I can fine-tune details in my shot that would otherwise be harder to do if I'm using a finger. And the same thing goes for things like Instagram stories. A lot of us draw on our Instagram stories, and with something like the S23 Ultra, you have the S Pen, so that makes things easier. But obviously with this, we don't have that. But with this touchpad, we can get the same level of precision with the touchpad and have Instagram stories up on the top half and use the touchpad to draw on that story instead of using our fingers. And essentially you can enable this for any app, so that also means Google Chrome. You can have your own little cursor pointer and do all of that cool stuff with it as well. But there's also more at the bottom here, a few other options. You can set volume, you can have this button, which, watch, it'll bring down my notifications. So it's kind of like they're giving you this mini laptop thing where you can work from down here and have your media on the top half, so I can push it back up. I don't know how robust this is going to make your workflow specifically, but that's where all of these cool features come into play, because this is where people can make it their own. The same thing happened with me when I had the S Pen. At the start, the S Pen was cool, but it was almost a gimmick. I was never really using it. I would never really take it out, but when I started finding things out and I learned new features that the S Pen could do, I started to incorporate 1, 2, or maybe even 3 of them into my daily routine, and they actually became a habit, and my workflow would improve because of that. So I definitely wanted to let you guys know about this, because some of you might actually find this helpful, incorporate it into your workflow and become more productive. Not too toxic though, not toxic productivity, but productive nonetheless. Let's keep it moving. Next is really important, really important. This should have been number 1. If you buy this phone, by default, you get the Samsung keyboard that looks like that. We all know what it looks like. I mean, stop it. Guys, it sucks, okay? I'm not saying it's a bad keyboard, because I mean, phones like the S23 Ultra also have the Samsung keyboard, but it's perfectly fine on the S23 Ultra. Here, let me show you. This is the Samsung keyboard on the S23 Ultra. This is the Samsung keyboard on the Z Flip 5. Do you notice a difference? No, because there's no difference with the software, but there's a big difference in these devices. Z Flip 5 is narrow. It's super narrow, and that means those keys that you just saw are going to be super hard to press individually, while on this wide display, it's a lot easier to press them. In other words, if you're coming from a regular phone, this keyboard is going to be kind of hard to get used to, and if you don't know, now you know. So the hack Gboard. Go to Google Play Store and download an app called Gboard. It's by Google. Once you've downloaded it, there's a two-step installation process, and you want to set Gboard up as your main keyboard, and that's what I've done. And guys, this looks so much better. It's so much cleaner. The autocorrect and the autofill works so much better than the Samsung keyboard, and the emojis, just, you get so much more real estate to click comfortably. And that's big for me because, again, I'm using this for a lot of kind of productivity things, messaging my Airbnb cleaners, Instagram. My point is, get Gboard. It's going to save you a ton of time, and you're going to thank me later. And finally, let's get into tip number 5, edge panels. Now, we know edge panels exist. The S23 Ultra has edge panels. Those are really cool. This one has edge panels as well by default. So that's the edge panel. That's what it looks like. You literally swipe in from the edge and you get the edge panel. Pretty cool. And what you basically find on the edge panel are all your apps. Pretty useless. Let me make it a little bit better. So for this, what you want to do is go into settings, go into display, click on display, and you're going to scroll all the way down to edge panels. Now obviously make sure it's enabled. For edge panels, you can go ahead and click on that. And where it says panels here, it has apps by default. But like I said, we already have apps on our home screen. We have it in our apps library. I don't need apps on the edge panels. So when you click on that, you can choose a bunch of different options as far as how you want to customize your edge panel. And so there's Smart Select and Tasks. These are the two that I recommend the most. There's also reminders. I have a dedicated reminders app. It's called Todoist. But if you don't, and if you want to have it on your phone, Reminder is a really cool way to literally just swipe over, have all your reminders, and swipe them away. So that's something that you can do, but this just gives me a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more that I can do without having to go into settings or into a specific app or scroll down or browse through a bunch of different apps. Just have them on hand at the ready. Doesn't matter what I'm doing or what app I have open. So ladies and gentlemen, those are my picks for some of the best apps and tips and tricks to enable for your phone when you buy it for the first time. Now, like I said, I am gonna keep you guys updated. I'm gonna do a whole review after a month and after 2 months and after 3 months. Obviously, we're gonna be taking this everywhere. This has become my daily driver, and my S23 Ultra, that's my backup. That's on the back burner. So this is my main phone. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of this video. Now I know it was quick, but I didn't want to drag on. I didn't want to take up too much of your time. These are 5 quick hacks that you can do really quick and enable them and get even more out of your phone than out of the box, right? So definitely have those enabled, and let me know in the comment section below which one you find the most useful. And it's probably going to be having every app on the cover screen. Come on. Today, literally today, so today was my 3rd day with this device, and I had Google Maps running on my cover display as I was going somewhere. Like, this was just so much fun because it's just so cool. Also guys, I had a compliment today. So I was on my phone now. Now I know what happened with the Z Flip 3 and the Z Flip 4. Like, you'd put it on the table, you'd flip the phone open, and the waitress's panties would drop. But with the Z Flip 5, you're getting a lot more than panties. Especially because today when I was using my phone, for the most part, I was on the cover screen. So again, I wasn't wasting time scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or doing any of the other stuff. I was going on my phone to get tasks done. And that was it. I didn't bother opening that phone. There's that friction, there's that hurdle that you have to get over to flip the phone open. And by the way, this is a very tight hinge, but for the most part, if I can get work done on the cover screen, I'm not gonna flip open the phone, and for the most part, that saves me a bunch of time. I'm rambling at this point. That's for the review. I'll see you until next time. Take it easy. Peace.